My name is Chris Stewart. I am the CEO and the founder of the Wayfinder Foundation in Minnesota. We are a foundation that makes direct investments into low-income women who want to become activists and challenge the systems that serve them. We specifically fund activism to change public education and the welfare systems, the state welfare systems that support families in need. I had such a poor experience myself in public school that it was never something that I really thought that I would potentially go into. Didn't mean that I didn't want to work with kids, though. I always thought that I would work with kids in some capacity, but just not. I had never seen myself as a teacher. It changed over time, especially as I got older. At some point, I thought it would be very cool after visiting a lot of schools to be a kindergarten teacher, and it's still something that's in the back of my mind. That would be interesting because you have very few black men in kindergarten classes, in schools, period, but definitely in kindergarten classes. So here's my thinking just in general. We have a lot of evidence that tells us that kids do better, especially marginalized kids, do better when they have a black teacher. We have very few black children who are going through their entire career with black teachers, their entire schooling career, and that I think has an adverse impact on how well students are connecting to the schools that they go to and how well they do. Their achievement, I think, is directly related to having people that look like them in authoritative positions within schools. Black males are not being trained from kindergarten all the way through high school to actually see themselves as being leaders themselves, being in control and in charge. I believe that black males are over policed and there's too much behavior modification and not enough of engendering the power of the self power of black male and black men. I don't think that creates a fond affection for the institution of public education and schooling in general. And if you are one of the small group of African Americans who make it out of high school and then into college and then come out the other end with a college degree, there isn't a lot that incentivizes you to go into the classroom, especially if you are an African American male who's the first in your family to go through college and to make it all the way through. Your opportunities, especially your opportunities to earn, are probably a lot better outside of public schools. We have studies that tell us that the dropout rate is improved for black males when they have black teachers. The achievement rates and test scores of black students are better when they have black educators. And I don't know that anybody has figured out why that is. I have my own thoughts. But it definitely is something that we know is important, and we're not doing enough to make sure that it happens. I definitely think we need to think about strong pipelines, and those pipelines need to go at least down to eighth grade. We need to really be recruiting and thinking about supporting young people before they get to high school to think about education as a career, especially the ones that express any type of interest in it. We need to create a fraternal environment around, especially black males, around teaching as a form of activism, not just a job or just an occupation, a thankless occupation. And we need to create the financial infrastructure that helps people of color make it all the way through high school and through college and come out the other end without a ton of student debt. If you have a ton of student debt, I can't see how it helps you consider teaching as something that you want to do. I think that the majority of black male educators are in urban areas. I think the majority of them are in schools that are segregated with high populations of African Americans, black students, and I also would say that I bet that many of them are put into the role of deans and aides and support support personnel, which is an issue for many new black teachers, especially black males, to be pigeonholed into that role. Education, period, is getting a bad rap whether you're a black male or not. It's just not the thing that people think is a choice occupation anymore. By 2050, I would hope that we have a lot more black male educators, but I can't assume that it's going to be much better than it is now because the trend isn't great. Especially when you're talking about an environment of mass incarceration where we're taking plenty of African Americans just out of the pool just in general, and it starts early. We're suspending kids in kindergarten. We're setting them on track to be expelled by eighth grade. We're like criminalizing them in high school and giving them, criminal records early. We are detaching them from the major institutions that are part of their lives very early. So the idea that we would be improving the numbers of them that actually make it through college and then consider college or teaching as an option, I think it's going to be really hard. There are several statements made in articles discussing the scarce amount of black male educators. There are several claims that young black students do not want to pursue this career because they don't see teachers that look like them. When you see people who look like you in various occupations, it becomes clear to you that that's possible. You see a black engineer, or you see people in your family who are black police officers or black firefighters. It's clear to you that that is possible. What's not as clear to you are the occupations where you see no black people and you have the sense that it's just not for black people. So yes, I believe that seeing and experiencing good relationships with black males or black educators, period, does make a difference.